I'm Dutch, and let's react to the Americans. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Joe, and I'm a typical Dutchman. And if you're planning to come over to Europe to live or for your holidays, or if you're thinking about why is everything in America so much more expensive than in Europe, then you are at the right place. Because in this channel, I look at the cost of living, life and living in the US compared with cost of life and living in Europe. And for today, we're going to take a look at this video from the world according to Briggs. Millions want out. Where are Americans moving abroad? I want to know, are they leaving and why are they leaving? But he's not telling about why. But why are they leaving? I hope they will say. And to where are they leaving? Are they leaving all the way over to Europe, or are they leaving to somewhere else? I'm curious what it's all about, so let's take a look together. Where are the Americans going?
Have you ever thought about leaving the United States? If you said yes, you're not alone. Especially this year. People are Googling living abroad more and more every single month. The three biggest reasons people give for wanting to leave the US are rising costs, political tension, and Donald Trump. Not even
Isn't that the same? All the same reason, Donald Trump. So political, try again.
Living abroad more and more every single month. The three biggest reasons people give for wanting to leave the US are rising costs, political tension, and Donald Trump.
Yeah, rising costs and political tension are both caused by Donald Trump. So it's only one reason that's called Donald Trump. Nah, yeah, it's a lot, but the rising cost, yeah, I've seen it.
Not even kidding. Millions of Americans are seriously considering a new life abroad. Whether you're looking for affordable healthcare, a slower pace of life, or just want to reset, moving abroad is becoming more than just a dream. It's a plan. In this video, we're going to dive into the top 10 countries Americans are moving to right now. And today we're ranking them by how many Americans moved to each country in 2024. From tropical escapes to high-tech havens, these are international hotspots where US expats are building better lives.
I'm curious, are Europe or the Netherlands part of those 10? I fear not. I don't think. I guess Canada, Mexico, maybe some to the warmer countries like Brazil, or on the other side to Indonesia, Taiwan, in those regions. And some of them will come over to Europe, but I don't think in the top 10. Let's see.
If you're thinking about ditching the chaos and starting fresh overseas, stick around and we're going to see if we can find you your next home. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look.
Number 10, Japan. Yeah.
Number 10, Japan. Living in Japan as an American expat is like stepping into the future without giving up the charm of the past. It's one of those rare countries where ancient temples and neon-lit arcades exist on the same block, and somehow it makes sense. If you're looking for a place that offers safety, efficiency, and a deep sense of culture, Japan might be exactly what you're looking for. Tokyo gets most of the attention, and for good reason. It's fast-paced, organized, and loaded with everything from Michelin-star ramen joints to robot cafes. But Japan isn't just about big cities. Places like Osaka and even smaller towns offer a slower pace of life with access to excellent healthcare, clean public spaces, and infrastructure that actually works. Now, before you get all excited, Japan isn't known for being dirt cheap, but it's also not as expensive as you might think, especially once you're outside of the Tokyo bubble. Rent?
Yeah, I have no idea what the costs are in Japan, but it sounds good, but the language barrier would be a great one. And I know if you want to become a teacher in Japan to teach English, and yeah, then you have a job already there. So
And in smaller cities can be surprisingly reasonable, groceries aren't outrageous, and public transportation is so efficient you might forget what traffic actually is. And yes, the trains really do run on time. They do, however, tend to get packed during rush hour. When I say packed, I'm talking zero personal space. Language can be a hurdle, but Japan has made a ton of progress in becoming a more foreigner-friendly country. English signage is common in the cities, and many services cater to expats. In terms
Okay, that's a bonus about language barrier. I was thinking about you don't need a car to get to your job. So that's, I guess, for a lot of people also a reason to go to Japan, not only healthcare, but the need to have a car to get to your job is with such a good public transportation, not a problem.
In terms of visa, Japan has several pathways depending on your situation. The specified skilled worker visa targets people in industries like healthcare and construction, while remote workers often apply for the business manager visa or work for companies with a Japan presence. And while Japan doesn't currently have a formal digital nomad visa, it's slowly warming up to the idea of long-term stays for skilled professionals and entrepreneurs. They say living in Japan is about embracing structure and beauty in everyday life, whether that means grabbing noodles at a convenience store that look like they were plated by a chef or soaking in a hot spring in the middle of the mountains. If you're looking for a place where tradition meets technology and where every day feels both calm and exciting, Japan might be your next great move.
Yeah, looking at all this housing and skyscrapers, is housing a problem? I don't know. Good thing to think
In
about.
2024, 58,340 Americans moved to Japan to start the path of citizenship.
That's not bad at all. 58,000? The first European country, France. A lot of people move over to France, the city of love, the nation of love. Paris with the city of love. France.
Number 9, France. Moving to France as an American expat is basically the adult version of running away to live in a painting. Cobblestone streets, fresh baked baguettes, charming
Living in a painting. Yeah.
villages, and cities that drip with history out of every architectural detail. It's all real, and it's all just kind of there. Like it's not a big deal to them. But beyond the postcard perfect scenery, France also happens to be a pretty solid place when you're looking for a mix of culture, comfort, and actual healthcare that won't bankrupt you. Paris might steal the spotlight and probably part of your wallet, but there's so much more to France than overpriced espressos and pickpockets.
Look at these gorgeous mountains in the back. Yeah.
Cities like Lyon, Bordeaux, and even smaller towns offer beautiful living, great food, and a lower cost of living without sacrificing the living part. Even rural countrysides can feel like an upgrade from American suburbia, assuming that you're okay with a slower pace and a whole lot of cheese. Now let's talk about their healthcare. France has one of the best public healthcare systems in the world. It's efficient, affordable, and ridiculously accessible. Once you're in the system, doctor visits and treatments are subsidized, and even private insurance, which many expats opt for extra coverage, is a fraction of what Americans are used to paying. I used to work with a French guy, and we got in the discussion of healthcare, and he said that theirs is amazing. Compared to the United States, he was living in the United States at the time. He said if you have the flu and you need to see a doctor, they'll send a doctor to your house. They don't want you to come to the hospital with that. Now, this was 15 years ago.
Okay. That's an age, but 15 years ago.
I looked it up and they still have it. But he said that they have a doctor in this little ambulance with a driver who's like a nurse or a paramedic or an assistant or something like that. And they'll come to your house. They'll take a look at you. And if they feel you need to go to the hospital, they'll just take you with them. Language is where things get interesting. While more and more French people...
Yeah, language is interesting because some French, not all of them, but some French are stubborn enough not to talk in another language if you don't talk to him in French first.
People do speak English, especially in the larger cities, you're still going to need to brush up on your French. Don't worry, ordering wine and cheese at a cafe is excellent motivation to practice. Plus, the French genuinely appreciate it when you make the effort, even if you butcher the grammar. Visas is another strong point. France offers several paths for Americans looking to stay long-term. Long-term stay visitor visas are great for retirees and remote workers who can support themselves. There's also a talent passport for skilled professionals and a tech visa if you're in the startup world. France has a visa for self-employed creatives also. All in all, France delivers on the fantasy. Beautiful settings, rich culture, amazing food, and a lifestyle that encourages you to slow down and actually enjoy your life.
Yeah, high quality of life living in France.
So if you're willing to navigate a bit of red tape, sharpen your French skills, and embrace long lunches as a daily ritual, France might be the perfect escape if you're looking to leave the United States. In 2024, 61,000
Almost 62,000 Americans. Okay.
688 Americans moved to France to start the citizenship process.
South Korea. Okay, I didn't expect that one. South Korea.
Number 8, South Korea. Living in South Korea as an American expat feels like you're stepping into the future that somehow still respects tradition. This is a theme for all Asian countries, in case you don't know. It's a place where high-speed internet flows faster than your coffee order, and centuries-old temples sit quietly behind mega malls and glowing K-pop billboards. If you're looking for a mix of fast-paced urban energy, strong infrastructure, and a deep cultural backbone, South Korea might be exactly the kind of plot twist you're looking for. First,
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but yeah, it's good. It's a warm climate also, so
let's talk about Seoul, because, let's be real, that's where most of the expats land. The city is a hyper-efficient beast. The subway system is cheap, spotless, and somehow always on time. You can get anywhere, do anything, and order food to your door at 3 a.m. without even making a phone call. That really doesn't sound like that much of a big deal anymore with DoorDash and all those other things, but South Korea has been doing it for years. The city of Seoul, it's convenient living on steroids. But even outside of Seoul and some of the smaller cities, they offer a great quality of life with slightly less chaos and a whole lot of charm. Now here's the downside. Language can be a bit of a
yeah, language, yeah, same as in Japan.
hurdle. English isn't as widely spoken outside the urban areas, and day-to-day life will be easier if you learn some Korean. The good news, Koreans are generally patient with foreigners trying to learn, so there's no shortage of apps, classes, and helpful locals to get you started. As for staying here, South Korea offers a range of visa options. If you're a teacher, there's a huge demand for English instructors.
Yeah, that's what I say in Japan also. If you're a teacher, you're teaching English, yeah.
Especially through government programs. If you work remotely, the digital nomad visa scene is still developing, but there are long-term stay options through businesses and general visas. Living in Seoul is a unique blend of old and new, speed and serenity. It's a country that never seems to sleep, but still makes time for hot spring baths, autumn mountain hikes, and a slow cup of tea. In 2024, 68,050 Americans moved to
Almost 70,000. Moving over to South Korea. It's a new one. I didn't expect this. Japan, I would, but South Korea, I didn't. And then like 70,000 people.
South Korea to start their citizenship path.
Israel. Another surprising. Israel.
Number 7, Israel. Yes, even with all the turmoil and everything else like that, Israel is still got a lot of Americans living there. Living in Israel as an American expat is like jumping into a whirlwind of history, innovation, culture, and hummus. Lots of hummus. This is a country that has tons of history. I mean, biblical history at that. One minute you're walking through 3,000-year-old alleyways, and the next you're watching a self-driving robot deliver takeout on the same street. If you want a place that's intense, fascinating, and unlike anywhere else on Earth, Israel doesn't disappoint. Now, I get it. There's a lot of drama going on over there. I mean, but that drama's been going on forever. It's just on steroids right now. And I'm not here to get all into that. That's not what I do here. I'm giving you the numbers, and the number of Americans living there is pretty high. But let's start with the basics. The quality of life in Israel is surprisingly high. Tel Aviv is a global tech hub with the nickname of Silicon Wadi, and it offers
Silicon Wadi? Wow.
beach life, nightlife, and startup energy all packed into one chaotic but exhilarating city. Then there's Jerusalem, where every corner has a story older than the US Constitution. If you want a quieter lifestyle, they've got plenty of rural areas to move to. Healthcare is top tier. Israel's healthcare system is universal, and even private options are affordable compared to the US. Doctors are well trained, medical tech is advanced, and you won't need to sell a kidney to fix your existing one. Now let's talk money. It's not cheap here, especially in Tel Aviv, which regularly ranks among the world's most expensive cities. But the trade-off
Ooh, oh yeah. So it's not a good place to go for a holiday, I guess.
is a high quality of life and strong infrastructure. Public transportation works mostly, food is fresh and flavorful,
PT works mostly.
and safety is far better than the headlines might suggest. One major bonus for Americans, English is widely spoken here. Hebrew is the official language and Arabic is also common, but most in Israel under 40 can hold a conversation in English without breaking a sweat. Learning Hebrew definitely helps. When it comes to visas, Israel has a few different routes. If you're Jewish, the law of return makes immigration almost automatic. And that's why a lot of Americans live there, because they don't have to go through any hoops. You can move, get citizenship, and even receive some financial help if you do want to move to the desert. Non-Jews can still work
To the desert, but because of your belief. So if you're Jewish, you are welcome.
study, and retire in Israel with the appropriate visa, though the process involves a bit more paperwork and patience. Living in Israel isn't always easy. It's loud, opinionated, and endlessly complex. In 2024, 76,794 Americans moved to Israel to become citizens.
Wow. 76,000. Yeah. Australia, I did expect. Australia is number 6, I did expect, because English is already there. It's advanced, yeah.
Number 6, Australia. Living in Australia as an American expat is like moving to a parallel universe where everyone speaks English, sort of, drives on the wrong side of
Sort of. Yeah, they have their own accent, of course. It's a language, Australian, but yeah.
the road, and casually refers to deadly spiders as a minor inconvenience. But once you get past the wildlife that could theoretically kill you but probably won't, you'll find a country that's laid back, stunningly beautiful, and surprisingly easy to settle into. Australia has all the things Americans tend to look for when moving abroad: solid infrastructure, a high quality of life, and a familiar culture that still feels distinctly different.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah. Because it's also based off a colony of Britain. So Australia is a colony of Britain, and America was a colony of Britain. So yeah.
Cities are clean and modern, the healthcare system is excellent and affordable, and the people are friendly in that refreshingly sarcastic, no BS Aussie way. Whether you land in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, or even somewhere more relaxed, you'll find plenty of expats who came for a year and just never went home. Now, the cost of living here is high, especially in Sydney and Melbourne, but wages tend to
The cost of living is high.
keep pace, and you get a lot for your money. Public transportation actually works, parks and beaches are everywhere, and let's not forget the healthcare system. Australia has a universal healthcare system that covers residents through Medicare, and it works beautifully. You could see your doctor without refinancing your house, and hospital visits won't follow you around like student loan debt. Australians speak English, of course, but brace yourself, it's a different beast. You'll hear phrases like arvo, which is for afternoon, and then thongs are your flip-flops. Yeah, nah, which somehow means no. You don't go to the gas station, you go to the servo. They shorten everything. They call Christmas Chrissy. They call presents Prezzy, so you're gonna get a Chrissy Prezzy. Aussies are warm, funny, and incredibly direct. They'll insult you to your face and then invite you to a barbecue. When it comes to the visa,
Okay.
yes, Australia has a wide range of options. The most popular route for Americans is skilled worker visas, student visas, and of course, a partner visa, if you happen to be romantically involved with a local. There's also a holiday visa, and then they got a business visa that remote workers and entrepreneurs use. Immigration can be competitive and paperwork heavy, but it's a fairly transparent system if you meet all the qualifications. Australia is the kind of place where lifestyle sells itself. Surfing before work, hiking on the weekends, and grabbing coffee from a cafe that somehow
Sounds nice.
Puts American coffee chains to shame. If you're chasing sunshine, a healthy work-life balance, and a country that genuinely embraces both nature and modern living, Australia just might be the perfect second home. In 2024, 116,620
Wow.
Americans moved to Australia to start their citizenship process.
Second one. After France, we've got Germany on number 5. Higher than Australia. Why? The cost of living? Cost of living in Germany is lower than the cost of living in Australia, I guess.
Number 5, Germany. Germany's always been a great place to live. Well, at least since the late 40s. Living in Germany as an American expat is like discovering that adulthood actually can be organized, efficient, and still enjoyable. Who knew? It's a country where beer flows freely and people take their recycling very seriously. If you've ever dreamed of a life where public infrastructure actually works and healthcare doesn't come with a side effect of financial ruin, Germany might be your jam.
Yeah. Nice cities.
Cities like Berlin is art.
Yeah, there's architectural beauties. They survived most of the bombing in the World War II.
Artsy, and it used to be cheap, it's creative, and it's full of history. Munich is clean, classy, and obsessed with beer gardens, while Hamburg brings port.
Look at this. Beautiful. Yeah, I've been there on the bike. Wow.
City vibes with a little extra grit. And then there's the smaller towns that are all over the place. And a lot of them are still holding on to the old infrastructure and architecture, so they kind of look like a fairy tale. Germany isn't the cheapest place in Europe, but it offers great value. Rent is lower than most major US cities, healthcare is both excellent and affordable, and public transportation is so reliable you might forget that cars exist. Groceries are cheap, the streets are safe, and the people actually follow traffic laws. It's kind of refreshing. But I've
People actually follow traffic laws. You guys in America, don't you follow traffic laws? Or aren't any traffic?
Definitely not saying the place is cheap. It's one of the more expensive places to live. You could still find places that are cheaper than most cities in the United States. Now, the healthcare system here is a huge draw. Germany has a dual public-private model, and either way, you're in good hands. Public insurance, known as, I can't even pronounce that here.
Gesetzliche Krankenversicherung.
It is. And it covers about everything you need.
Yeah. Gesetzliche Krankenversicherung. Yeah. Gesetzlich is by law health insurance. So it's it's health insurance by law.
At a fraction of what Americans pay. You won't be battling surprise medical bills or taking out loans for a dental cleaning. Imagine that. It's so refreshing. The language barrier? Yeah, it exists, but it's manageable. In major cities, most people under 40 speak some English. Still, if you're planning on staying long-term, learning German will make life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, in Germany, they speak English. They know how to speak English. But the trouble, the problem, I will say the problem with English in Germany is that unlike we in the Netherlands, for example, and I don't know, and France are the same, but in comparison with the Dutch and the Germans do everything synchronizing, so they translate everything by a voiceover into German. So all English movies are in German. Everything that has to do with another language, Dutch, English, French, are translated into German. So the young people don't get exposed to English like it is, for example, in the Netherlands. And that's why they don't have as much English in their vocabulary as that we have in the Netherlands, or I would say other countries, but be careful. But we, as not we, but a lot of my countrymen living on the border with Germany do speak German. But most of the Germans on the other side of the same border don't speak Dutch. So, yeah, it's not that they don't want, but it's harder for them to speak English.
Especially when dealing with bureaucracy, which Germany has an abundance of. Seriously, the paperwork has paperwork. Getting in, learning German will make life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, but yeah, learning German would be too. Yeah.
Especially when dealing with bureaucracy, which Germany has an abundance of. Seriously, the paperwork has paperwork. Getting in legally isn't that difficult either. Germany offers several visa options for skilled workers, freelancers, and students.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, this old house is there.
If you're a remote worker, the freelance visa is a popular route. Just be ready to show contracts and proof of income. There's also a blue card option for highly skilled professionals, which can fast track permanent residency. Daily life in Germany strikes a nice balance between work and play. Germans may have a reputation for being serious, but they like their leisure time just as seriously. Expect long vacations, quiet Sundays, and plenty of time spent outdoors no matter the season.
Quiet Sundays, because everything is closed on Sunday. Maybe not everything, but most of the stuff are closed on Sunday. If I'm cycling through Germany, I have to keep in mind that it's Sunday, so I have to, if I want to have an extra drink, I have to find a gas station to buy, because all shops and supermarkets are closed.
If you're looking for a life that's a little more structured, a lot more sustainable, and still leaves room for the occasional sausage and Stein, Germany is a strong contender. In 2024, 152,639 Americans moved to Germany with the intentions of becoming a citizen there.
More than 150,000.
Number 4, Puerto Rico. I know.
Yeah, I didn't expect that one.
It's technically part of the United States. It's a territory, and they've been angling to get statehood for a very long time. But still, a lot of people consider Puerto Rico as being an expat or leaving the United States for another country. So we'll include it. Living in Puerto Rico as an American expat, or I should say ex-mainlander, is kind of like cheating the system in the best way possible. You get tropical island vibes, year-round warm weather, stunning beaches, and a slower pace of life, without having to mess with visas, foreign currency, or giving up your U.S. citizenship.
Oh, wow. That's good. That's a good deal.
It's America, but with palm trees and a whole lot more sunshine. One of the biggest draws is how easy it is to relocate. Since Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, Americans don't need passports, visas, or even how to learn a new legal system. Just keep your social security number, your Medicare eligibility, and your USPS mail. It's plug-in-and-play island living with mainland perks.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a nation from, it's not a state, but a nation, yeah.
The culture is distinctly Caribbean Latin, but your iPhone still works fine. Now let's talk their lifestyle. San Juan is the heart of it all, full of colorful buildings, lively neighborhoods, great restaurants, and a nightlife scene that doesn't sleep. If you want some quieter towns, they've got plenty of them for you, especially if you like to surf. There are gated developments, rural mountain homes, beachfront apartments, you name it, you could find it in Puerto Rico. The cost of living is a mixed bag. Some things like utilities, cars, and internet can be more expensive due to the shipping and infrastructure challenges.
Okay. So some part of cost of living are higher.
But real estate, still a bargain compared to most coastal U.S. cities. You can get a solid apartment or even a house with an ocean view for a fraction of what you'd pay in Florida or California, or even Hawaii. Healthcare is solid, especially around San Juan. While it's not quite mainland level, in rural areas, you'll find modern hospitals, trained doctors, and affordable services across the island. And yes, they take most major insurance plans. Then there's the tax situation, which is either a total dream or a complex headache depending on your income. Puerto Rico has a unique tax setup. Under certain programs like Act 60, individuals and businesses that move to Puerto Rico and meet specific residency requirements can pay significantly reduced taxes on certain types of income. It's a legal tax haven for entrepreneurs, investors, and remote workers. Culturally, Puerto Rico is a blend of American conveniences with rich Latin traditions.
Yeah, it's a mix of both. I do not know enough about Puerto Rico, so
Spanish is the primary language, but English is widely understood, especially in tourist areas and professional settings. So if you're craving that lifestyle that combines American familiarity,
this looks amazing. Oh, this forest, and then all the way back flow, and then you see the mountains into, yeah, wow.
with island
I will love to cycle there.
flair, and you're ready to embrace a few quirks along the way, Puerto Rico offers one of the easiest and most rewarding expat experiences for U.S. citizens. In 2024, 159,515 mainland Americans moved to Puerto Rico to become permanent residents.
Almost 160,000.
Now, like I said earlier, technically they're all Americans, but you know there's a difference.
United Kingdom, the UK, number 3. A lot of expats moving to UK, also because of English. The same like they'll go to Australia. It's back to the roots, back to mother.
Number 3, the United Kingdom. Living in the United Kingdom as an American expat is kind of like moving in with your slightly older cousin, the one who's classy, sarcastic, and has seen a few more centuries of history than you have. Sure,
Yeah. It's they are the parents of America.
they drive on the wrong side of the road and act like tea can solve literally any problem, but it's a place that feels familiar enough to be comfortable while still offering that charming, rainy dash of European flair. London gets
Rainy dash of European flair, especially rainy. The weather, same like in the Netherlands, from one moment to the other moment, sun on the one side and then a shower.
It's all the attention. And yes, it's a wild mix of high prices, endless culture, and enough diversity to make your hometown look like a country club. But the UK is much more than its capital. Cities like Manchester, Edinburgh, Bristol, and Glasgow offer a lower cost of living with just as much character. Plus, friendlier locals who don't treat you like a tourist every time you open your mouth. The cost of living varies wildly depending on where you settle. London rents can drain your bank account faster than
See, London is the most expensive for rent and for buying. Yeah.
you can say mind the gap, but head outside the M25 and things start to look a lot more reasonable. Healthcare is a big win. The UK National Healthcare System, or NHS, is free at the point of use and generally gets the job done. You won't be asked to take out a second mortgage on your house to treat a sinus infection, which for many Americans feels like some kind of witchcraft. Expats on long visas usually have to pay a healthcare surcharge, but it's a flat fee, and once you're in, you're covered. Language here won't be a problem. They got some different words, sort of like Australia, but you'll get used to them. The UK is pretty welcoming attitude towards Americans. At least it used to be. Might be a little different right now. But if you're working...
Yeah, same problem as in France and in Germany and in the Netherlands, housing. It's the same problem everywhere in Europe because of the many refugees that came over. Yeah.
Studying or have a British partner, popular visa options include skilled workers visa, global talent visa, and a youth mobility scheme. Retirement is a bit trickier, but not impossible if you've got some funds and you're persistent.
I didn't know that. Retirement is a bit trickier. Though they have a retirement plan in UK.
In short, the UK isn't perfect. It rains a lot, the bureaucracy can be a maze, and the housing market is a bit of a mess, but it's cozy, quirky, and surprisingly easy to feel at home in. If you're looking to live abroad without a full culture shock, the United Kingdom rolls out the red carpet for you. Or at least opens the pub door for you. In
Yeah. And you can have a drink, a pint.
2024, 100...
Oh, yeah, the metric system is not... Oh, the British imperial system is different than the imperial system of the United States. So you need to calculate in your head because an ounce is an ounce, etc. It's different.
170,771 Americans moved to the UK with the intention of becoming citizens.
Yeah, this one was, I was expecting Canada. Close by, number 2. I wonder what is number one, because I expected Canada to be number. Would be Mexico number one? The people leave for Mexico?
Number 2, Canada. If you're an American looking for a fresh start without totally ditching the creature comforts of home, Canada might just be calling your name. Politely, of course, with a maple syrup handshake and a healthcare card. It's close, it's familiar, and it manages to do a lot of things better than the US without rubbing it in, at least too much. First off, the big selling point, universal healthcare. Canadians might not brag about it much, but free doctor visits are kind of their thing. Now, it's not free totally. I know they got extra taxes for it. Get past it. We got high taxes and we just get a bunch of bombs, missiles, and bullets. And no one ever seems to complain about that.
Yeah, most of the tax money from America goes into the Department of Defense.
Take a free doctor over another missile any day. Cities like Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal offer all the same perks of modern living. Great restaurants, public transportation that doesn't make you question your life choices, and a general vibe of, we've got it all figured out. Sure, the housing market in places like Toronto and Vancouver is absurd, but smaller cities like Halifax, Winnipeg, or even parts of Quebec offer a more affordable and relaxed lifestyle without sacrificing quality. Another
I do not know any prices from over there.
major plus, cultural overlap. You can still get your NFL games, Target knockoffs, and pumpkin spice lattes, but you'll also get Tim Hortons, poutine, and a national tendency to say sorry even when someone else bumps into them. English is the main language almost everywhere, except Quebec, where the French reign, and the overall culture feels like a calmer, cleaner version of the US with fewer guns and more politeness per capita.
With fewer guns. I assume way less guns.
Canada also makes it fairly straightforward for Americans to become residents. If you have a job offer, specialized skilled, or you're married to a Canadian, the immigration process is smooth compared to a lot of countries. There is an express entry program for skilled workers, and if you're self-employed or planning to retire, there are other visa options, though you'll need to prove that you can support yourself. So if you like clean air, decent politics, and a solid healthcare system, Canada checks all those boxes. In 2024, 273,226 Americans
Yeah, almost 275,000 in 1 year.
moved to Canada to stay there forever.
Now we're getting to number one. I'm curious what will be number one.
All right, before we get to number 1, if you have not subscribed to this channel, we would love it if you did. Doesn't cost you a thing, you just hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, give the video a big thumbs up, and on to number 1.
I didn't. Oh, wow. I usually start with a subscribe and a like. Oh, wow. Maybe you should do too.
1.
Mexico. 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 I expected to be Canada number one and Mexico number 2 or 3, but number 1 for Mexico? Surprising to me.
And number 1, Mexico. Living in Mexico as an American expat is like hitting the jackpot for everyone who wants sunshine, affordability, and slower pace of life without flying halfway around the world or learning an entirely new alphabet. It's close, it's culturally rich, and honestly, it might be one of the easiest international moves an American can make. Whether you're chasing beach life, mountain views, colonial charm, or just tacos that don't come with a drive-thru, Mexico delivers. Now, yes.
Yeah. You hear a lot of people in TV shows saying, I'm going to retire to Mexico, to Baja.
Before anyone says anything, they've got some crime, they've got the cartels, but the
Yeah, it's he's talking about it, the crime, the cartels. It's not safe in Mexico. I think, well, I had a video, you can look it up on my channel, about why Americans go over to Mexico for their health care, because it's cheaper in America, but they also have to be safe.
The US and everywhere else has crime as well. Let's start with what pulls most people in, the cost of living. Mexico is hands down one of the most affordable countries for Americans looking to stretch their dollars without sacrificing quality. Rent is a fraction of what you pay in the US. Groceries are cheap and fresh, and services, whether it's the doctor, dentist, or someone to fix your leaky sink, it's not only affordable, but usually it's done on the same day. Want to live in a place where you can get a housekeeper, a private doctor visit, and dinner out for less than your cable bill back home? Welcome to Mexico. The health
Wow, sounds cheap.
Care is a big win here. Mexico offers both public and private systems, and even private hospitals are incredibly affordable by US standards. Many doctors speak English, appointments are easy to get, medical tourism is a whole industry for a
Yeah, that was talking about medical tourism, yeah.
reason. If you need dental work, surgery, or prescriptions, it's a fraction of the cost in Mexico compared to the US. Now let's talk about the paperwork. Americans can stay in Mexico on a tourist visa for up to 180 days, which makes it a favorite for snowbirds and part-time expats. If you're looking to stay longer, there are temporary and permanent resident visas, often which
Wow, looks great. Better than some American cities with all this nice green on both sides of the street.
are surprisingly accessible if you meet the basic income or asset requirements. The process is relatively smooth, and Mexico is pretty
How many people do move to Mexico?
relaxed about foreigners calling it home. And yes, there's some things to adjust to. Spotty Wi-Fi in rural areas, a little more red tape in government offices, and the general lack of urgency when it comes to just about anything. Mexico isn't just a backup plan for retirement or a budget-friendly escape. It's a place where life feels lived, with music in the streets, food that actually has flavor, and neighbors who will talk your ear off even if you butcher every word in Spanish. In 2024 alone,
Wow, almost 800,000 Americans left for Mexico.
799,248 Americans started their path to citizenship in Mexico.
Wow. Okay, interesting video. Why are Americans wanting out? That was clear because of the current economy in the United States and the healthcare cost and the reason of the current political choices made. But yeah, it's a good video. 2 of Europe, 2 out of 10. France and Germany, and then 2 in Asia. Japan and South Korea, those were unexpected. And the more expected one was Mexico, Canada, Australia, and Great Britain. Yeah, good video. If you like the video, then press like. If you want to see more of me videos, then you can take a look at one of these videos. And if you would press on this one, that would mean the world to me if you actually do like my videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.